Hello, everybody, and welcome to the top 5 new comics for July 17th of 2024. I'm, as always, Chris, and I can't tell you how great of a week this is going to be. We got a lot of new number ones, a returning comic, a lot of fun to be had. It's a great time to be into comics, and I'll show you why here in just a minute, starting with Dark Knights of Steel, Allwinter #1. This is written by Tom Taylor and Jay Kristoff with art by Tirso Cons. The short version is, if you have not read Dark Knights of Steel, the series from last year, it was one of my favorite series of all of last year. An all-time great series. I absolutely loved Dark Knights of Steel. It was a blast to go through. There were some moments through the publication where it got a little behind, and that was frustrating. But as a solid product that you can buy all in one right now, it is so good in so many ways. The art's phenomenal. The story they tell of this medieval, almost fantasy-esque world involving DC characters is just so great. All around, I just love this series. And now we have the sequel to it coming. And it's set up really well for a sequel. The way it ended was so satisfying, but at the same time set something up that could happen in the future in this world. And I think they got numbers coming back from it. People are just in love with it, and we have to do more. The only disappointing part about the original series was that the entire time it was coming out, and this was during a time we had this and DC versus Vampires and so many great DC Elseworlds books that they refused to call Elseworlds. And it's a nitpick, but one that DC heard me on, because this is now an official Elseworlds title. With the relaunch of Elseworlds, they're doing the Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age series, which was the birth of Elseworlds, which seems like a fitting way to start it. And now this is the second book to come out, and it is a sequel to Dark Knights of Steel titled Allwinter. I am beyond excited for this book. This is going to be, when I get back Wednesday after work, go to the comic shop, get my books, come home, settle down, pull out my comics. This is the first book off the pile, hands down. There's no other way around it. And when you see what the rest of my list is for this week, you're going to see that is such a huge compliment, because there's so many great books coming out. And I just cannot express enough how much I'm looking forward to this book. And with that, we'll move on to the next book. So after that, I've got Namor #1. This is written by Jason Aaron with art by Paul Davidson. Everyone that's watched me for a while knows I love Namor. Namor, Aquaman, there's something about these characters that live underwater that just tickles me so. I love these characters. And Namor is one of those characters that we don't get a whole ton of. He shows up here and there. It's fairly rare to get a Namor solo book. And while last year we got the Namor book that was a far-flung future series that discussed the events of the Marvel Universe and that timeline with the world being flooded, now we've got a Namor book in current continuity. Why is he all messed up in this hospital bed? What's going on? And how does it affect his problems down undersea with Atlantis? And if somebody could just show me the pitch that Jason Aaron had for this, because Namor is a tough character for anyone to pitch. As we know, that book that came out last year, Christopher Campbell has been pitching that for a long time. And they finally said, let's do it. But I gotta say, this is Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron's doing so much great work now. I was sad to see him leave Marvel as a whole, as an exclusive writer. But now he's not only back with this book of all books, but I just love what he's doing everywhere now. He seems to have a new breath of creativity now that he's kind of doing whatever he feels like. And I'm really excited to get Namor #1, to see what we have in store here, to see why Jason wanted this title of all titles to be the one that he came back to Marvel to do, along with that Scrooge book that he did. Like, it's just, these are such not the books I picture Jason Aaron writing, but here we are, and I'm really excited because it's one of my favorite writers in the industry, working on one of my favorite characters who I do not get enough comics about. So all in all, I will not complain at all. After Dark Knights of Steel, this will hands down be #2 off the poll list that I read, because Namor is just a character I adore in so many ways. And with that, we'll move on to the next one. So after that, I've got Paranoid Gardens, #1. This is written by Gerard Wade and Shaun Simon, with art by Chris Weston, colors by Dave Stewart, and letters by Nate Picos. If you don't know, Gerard Wade played in a band, what was it called? My Chemical Romance, I think. Not a big fan personally, never really got into the band, but he wrote this comic called The Umbrella Academy. And from that moment forward, I became a fan of Gerard Wade. The Umbrella Academy is one of the just great independent comic books that's ever been written. I just adore it. I've gone back and gotten all the single issues. I have the library editions of it. It's a series that I love so much in so many ways. And he's been diving in and out of the comics industry, doing different things. He did that Doom Patrol book. I know he's done some other things. And now he's back at Dark Horse again with this new series, Paranoid Gardens. And it's about this weird, I don't want to say retirement home. And it's almost like it's this weird place where people just go to live. And all these strange things are going to happen. We're going to get cults. We're going to get monsters, aliens, ghosts, superheroes will show up. Why not? And it just feels like a way for Gerard to have a story about a place in which weird things happen. And I just look forward to see what he has in store for this. It's the first time. His Doom Patrol book was good. I'm really zoning on other books he's done outside of that. But yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff for DC. I'm going through his catalog right now, everybody. He's jumped around some stuff, but this is really the first thing outside of, he did the book Killjoys. I remember that book. This is the first thing in a while that I can say I'm really excited for that he's a part of. So I just think the Paranoid Gardens is going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to getting my hands on it and seeing what he has in store. And to see him back at Dark Horse, like, it's just one of those things. Like, you think Robert Kirkman, you think Image Comics, you think Gerard Wade, I think Dark Horse. Like, he got to start there. He did one of my favorite books of all time there. So why not go back there for the next series? And it's really nice to see him there and see this book finally coming out and see what it is. See what's, what he has in store. After that, I've got The Weatherman, Volume 3, #7. This is written by Jody LeHeup and art by Nathan Fox. So we're not going to sit on this too long. We've talked a lot about Weatherman on the series. I love Weatherman. I want to spotlight this book whenever possible. And this is going to be one of the last times I get to spotlight this book, as this is the conclusion of the series as a whole. This is the final issue of Volume 3. This is going to conclude the entirety of Weatherman. And I just got to say how much I've enjoyed this book. And I really look forward to see what they have for this big finale, where all the characters end up, what happens with everybody involved in the last issue, and how that played out. If obviously this is a terrible issue for somebody to jump on board on and just check out, but if you've never read Weatherman, the first 2 volumes are available. I'm sure after this we're going to get an announcement for a big collected of all the issues together that I will definitely be buying. Trade. Weatherman is just one of those special books to me that I cannot recommend enough. If you're hearing this, don't go and buy Weatherman #7. It's probably a bad idea to just buy the ending, but go and check out the previous volumes and see if this book is as special to you as it was to me over these past 4 or 5 years. It's a phenomenal series that's finally going to be ending. And yeah, it's just one of those books that is going to be something I reread multiple times throughout my life and always check out. It's going to go on that stack with like Dark Knight Returns as a regular reread. So everybody should check out The Weatherman. And we will end with Biker Mice from Mars #1. This is written by Melissa Flores with art by Francis Portela and letters by Taylor Esposito. As a kid, I watched Biker Mice from Mars. It was one of those books one of those cartoons that I just absolutely loved. And with the Nacellverse coming out and them doing all these cool different things, I was really excited with what they had in store. And while I'm still waiting to read RoboForce, this was one that right away I had to jump into because it's fucking Biker Mice from Mars. And luckily enough, everybody out there, you'll be able to see my review sometime this week because they did send me a review copy of this book. But it's just the nostalgia there. I was a kid when this cartoon came out. I really liked that Nacellverse #0 and what they were doing with it. And I just think that this has the potential to do something really fun and cool. 3-issue series, get in and out, and we can see if these IPs still hold any kind of fan base. And I hope they do, because there's definitely some cool stories that could be told inside the Nacellverse, specifically with Biker Mice from Mars. So everybody, thank you so much for watching this week. Remember, if you want to support me or this video series or the channel, best ways to do it are to go over to chriscomicscorner.substack.com. That's where all my reviews are, all my writings are. Do a lot of fun stuff over there. You can also, as always, on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment down below. What books are you looking forward to that aren't on my list, and all that fun stuff. And share it with your friends on your social media to spread the word. So thank you all so much, and I'll see you all here next week.